Hello, everyone. This is Los Angeles Chronicles, episode 23. This episode is about investing in stocks. So I'm gonna try to give you my experience, and of course, I don't know everything about investing in stocks because if I did, then probably wouldn't be here. I'd be on some kind of yacht or something, or maybe not, or maybe. So I'm going to kind of joke around and just tell you what I know. And that's all you can do, just be real. So I think that it's because financial information or episodes about money seem to get attention. So why not, right? So I want to dedicate this episode to my homie Sean, if you're out there listening. And yeah, I thought it'd be fun because actually this is one of my ideas to make an episode about this anyway, about stocks, because I've been into it maybe 15 years on and off. So at one point I would go years without even being into it. And at the end of the day, let's say don't let it consume your mind. But yeah, it's all right. I mean, it's more of like a mentality, and we're gonna get into that. So yeah, I haven't actually worked in 12 days, so I got some time to relax and get back in to a better state of mind, because they really did beat the crap out of me in my last few days at work. So here we are. We went through a hardcore heat wave, so it was like 106, 107, and now it dramatically declined to a temperature of 90 degrees, 85 degrees in the past couple of days, and everybody was very relieved and enjoyed that. So right now it feels more of autumn kind of weather, so pretty nice, and I'll start my new job pretty soon, so change is good. And what else? Let's get into it, man. Investing. I know investing is like a big ocean or something. There's different types, and there's more advanced. The advanced type is the options, stock options, and I've only met maybe a handful of people that actually know how to do that. I kind of get into that later too, but the thing everybody's got some kind of take on it, man. So everybody's got they talk about 401k, but to me 401k, that's not investing. That's more of your retirement, and that's going to a professional person that's handling it professionally, and into the mutual funds and the stuff for your retirement. And the investing I'm into is you can hop in, hop out, you know what I'm saying? So you can, if you need your money back, you can get it back when you need to without paying a penalty. It's kind of like the whole philosophy, buy low, sell high. So you buy it like Mr. Warren Buffett when he bought Coca-Cola, they pretty much crashed, and he bought all this, a lot of shares. I mean, now he owns 10%. So I kind of want to talk shit about Warren Buffett real quick. So let me pause this real quick. Okay, yeah, we just had a technical kind of mic check thing again. So, oh yeah, I want to give a shout out to Sony headphones for making this product. So I got the same headphones as Howard Stern. I can't do how you talk like Howard Stern, oh hey, we got a guest up on here. Yeah, maybe I need to get some tips from to speak more clearly Howard Stern. So yeah, here we are. So Warren Buffett, man, how many billions? Let's say he has $96 billion, and he still wants $3 billion more. Man, something's wrong with you if you have that much kind of money. Because I mean, I think I have enough stuff already. I don't even have time to use my skateboard that's in the trunk of my car, and people have some kind of opinion about him. But I mean, the guy's nuts, man, because I heard he goes to Hong Kong and he orders burgers and fries when he's in Hong Kong. And I'm like, man, do you know where you are? You're in a different country and you're going to eat the American food. You may as well take advantage of the food that they have to offer you in Hong Kong. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Warren Buffett, he kind of talks oh yeah, I'm Warren Buffett, and yeah, I got something to say about this. And Coca-Cola, it's terrific. It's a terrific company. It's a good product. I stand by this product. The CEO is Muhtar Kent. Yeah, Muhtar, what do you have to say? He's like, oh, yes, this is excellent, Mr. Buffet. Yes, we are very proud of all the work that we are doing in Mexico. Yeah, because like Mexico, they sell so much Coca-Cola there. I mean, I worked for Coca-Cola, man, for like 7 years. And then 1 year for the beer company when the billionaires bought the damn Allied beverages. So kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, right? Like a bad Coca-Cola taste. So, but the thing is, when I worked there, like he owns 10% of that. And then I would say something smart at the meetings, like I knew everything. I'm like, hey, what about Warren Buffett? And then they would never like say anything about him, So it was like you can't say anything about Warren Buffett. So yeah. And then he talks about like he has like a warehouse full of silver. That's what I heard. Like, what's the point of that, man? I was like, well, the silver is it's a good investment, but it's more of like when you need it to make money for you, you just open up the box and look at it. It's like, hey, I just look pretty, but if I can't make any money from you. So what I meant by that is like when you buy stocks, then the dividends make you money. So there's two. What I do is like traditional investing and buying stocks, and there's two ways to make money with that. And just getting back seriously, people, this is you either make money from like capital dividends or dividends or capital gains. So let's say I bought a stock, I have like one share of Sony stock, and the ticker symbol is SONY. Ticker symbol means like when you look it up to buy it, you have to type that in. So if you buy stock in Uber, it's going to be Uber, like UBER. Anyway, let's say I bought it for $80 a share, and then it went up to $90, and then the capital gains would be that $10, and then that's money that you made, and that money is tax free too. So you don't have to pay tax on that money. So, and then the dividends, like I don't know if they have a dividend, but let's say the dividend is 15 cents. So if you bought like 100 shares, for example, then it'd be 100 times 15 cents, and then that's what you would get. If it's quarterly or semi-annually, it would be every 6 months, or quarterly would be, and then there's some dividends you can get every month, and that would be for like mostly for real estate corporations. So there's one called like Realty Income Corporation, and one of my success stories is I own like 30 shares of that. So that'd be 30 times the dividend, and you would get that like every month, if that makes sense. So yeah, if you're my listener, if you're listening to this podcast and you're in Europe, I know the system's all set up differently in different countries in Europe, and then here we are in the United States. So the United States is like known for the American way, and you can invest as much money as you want and make as much money without like paying tax to the government or the government taking it from you. My roommate was Romanian, and he was my roommate for like a year and a half, and then he was into the American money system, and that's probably what kept him, how he stuck around, because he was talking about moving back to Romania because of how hard it is here, and like how the hardships you have to endure and the hard work that you have to put in, and the high cost of rent, the cost of living, especially in like LA or San Francisco or New York. Those are three really expensive cities. So yeah. All right, but kind of got ahead of myself right there. But what I do is like it's called like it's more traditional investing. So what I like to do is buy random shares of stock, and I know it sounds kind of stupid, but that's just where I'm at, man. So here's what you're gonna do. There's another website called Ally Invest, and then they're actually a free investing platform website, and I used to be a member, and it was free. And one of my success stories is one time I spent actually $1,000 that I didn't have with a credit card, and I bought many shares, probably like hundreds of shares of this one stock that crashed during 2020, and then they blew back up, and then I made like $2,000 or more than that in 1 month. So that month I made like more than I made at my job, busting my ass and risking my life at Amazon in 2020 when the COVID happened. So when COVID happened, it was good for investors and people that are like screwing other people over. And I don't know how I screwed someone over, but maybe it's because I invested in some kind of like gas company that crashed, or some kind of like oil company. Or there was this weird German kid at work, and we would both work together. It was before that social distancing thing happened, and you couldn't work with another Amazon guy. And we worked together all day, and he's like, he had a tattoo on his neck, and he drove a scooter to work, and he said, hey man, this company right here crashed, and I bought like 3 shares. And then he ended up selling the shares that he bought. And then when mine blew back up, I'm like, hey, did you see the stock, man? And then that's one of my like success stories. Like, let's say I made like $2,000, and that never happened again, by the way. But it was fun, and it's always good to have and share the story. But I was on LA Invest for a while, and then I ended up I started studying meditation and stuff, so I felt better. Like when I just like cashed in all my money and deleted that website, and then when I did that, the whole vibe, like I felt better, you know. So keep it simple. Like, you can invest, but don't let it consume your mind and get too greedy, and keep a balance, you know. And then that balance, you're gonna have to fine tune that yourself. So okay, moving on from and then LA Invest, I just like invested in random companies, and I would look up what was good at the time. And then one tip for that, you could look up I recommend getting on motleyfool.com and nerdwallet.com, and then read the book that guy wrote, the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. That's like basic stuff it's good to know. They don't teach in school. And like, that guy really doesn't tell you what to do. He just gives you a vague introduction, but it's like a mentality, and it's not really advice, but it's more the mentality. But like, what I kind of started acting like him when I read the book, and I was preaching to people in the warehouses in the back room. And then my girlfriend said I was a fucking asshole when I started following that guy. So be careful with that guy too, even though he's entertaining and he's cool to listen to on podcast, and he's a famous financial guy. And he did write a book with Donald Trump too. So then the book, one time I was on a date with a girl, and I mentioned the book, and then she got pissed that I mentioned that like he did something good, because I was like, how is Trump racist if he wrote a book with a Japanese guy? And then that was the thing I said, and then she got pissed, and then there was no second date. So be careful talking about money, and then or be careful like acting like him. So yeah, you can go to nerdwallet.com, and then they give you tips. So what I did was I went to actually Motley Fool. If you pay for the Motley Fool, then you get better financial tips of the stocks to buy. So at one point I was a subscriber to their thing, but I'd say don't get too far into them, because they charge like a bigger fee. And then, but it's life, you know. You get what you put into it. So if you put in $1,000 into investing, then you're gonna get, let's say you get at least 10% of that back, you know. So if you put in $100 into investing, then expect maybe 10%. Be happy with that. But another thing about this episode, like, don't blame me for like professional like financial advice. I'm just, what happened was, like, my guest had to work today, so I thought this would be cool, because this was an idea of mine to have an investing episode anyway, because I had an eBay episode, and that was about selling on eBay, and that's about money. So yeah, it's like a survival of the fittest out here, you know. So what I do now is I'm on Wells Fargo. That's my bank. So I think Wells Fargo, maybe, I don't know if Chase has it and Bank of America and all that stuff too, but Wells Fargo Advisors has a brokerage account. And I thought it would be like a longer process, but I had my own brokerage account within like that day or the next day, and it was approved. So back in the days, maybe in the 80s and the 70s, like, you would need a brokerage to go to a professional broker to buy stocks. If you want to buy a stock in like what's the cereal company, the General Mills, you want to buy that, or you want to buy Coca-Cola like Warren Buffett, Mr. Buffet, or do you want to, what else? Stuff changes around so much. So back in the day, you used to have to go to a broker guy, but now you can have your own brokerage account. So I recommend that for the average Joe out there, or whoever. So you can buy like what I did, I'll just buy like random stocks, right? So you go to when that's set up, you would go to the search thing and click in the ticker or type in the ticker symbol, and the ticker symbol would be like I just mentioned two. I mentioned Sony and Uber. So then let's see, Best Buy. Now I own Amazon stock. That's like the most expensive stock I have. So I just left that job, and then the joke's on them because I still get paid, right? So I still like own a part of that company, and then everybody at work thought I was weird because I bought that, and then I told the owner of the DSP, and he's like, "Oh, you did? Yeah, that's good. Oh, you bought a share of stock." Like, yeah. So sometimes it's being lonely at the top, right? So damn, it feels good to be a gangster. I wake up in the morning and own Amazon stock, right? So I think it dropped down and probably like lost $10, but all that stuff, the ups and downs, the key is to just not worry about it and don't trip, and don't let it get you down or get you too up too. So maybe investing is good for me because it's I don't really react to it. Like, let's say if it falls, like the biggest, most dramatic fall that I've had with what I have is maybe I lost like $40, and then what goes around comes around. So I've gained like $40 one day or something. Like if you add up all the stocks that I have, which isn't much compared to like, but I mean, I'm rich compared to like the person like homeless on the street. You have to look at it like that. Like I'm really rich compared to like somebody that has a job that's in thousands and thousands of dollars of debt. So I wouldn't even recommend like investing until you get out of your debt, and then you're debt free, which goes to zero. And then you have enough set up, like, the savings and the investing, and then, you diversify that into the stocks and the precious metals and whatever you want to get into. It's up to you. So, but yeah, keep it simple too. So, like I said, you're gonna search for the ticker symbol, and then you're gonna just like buy the stock. So it's gonna say there's gonna be a button that says, do you want to buy or sell? And you click buy, and this is just with Wells Fargo from my experience. So if Chase does it, then Chase Bank or Bank of America does it. And speaking of Warren Buffett, his homeboy Charlie Munger died, and he was another like one of those old farts that died. Man, he owned Bank of America, like millions of shares. And what's the point of that? Because when you die, you can't take all those millions of shares with you. But yeah, that's just like, I don't know if that many people know that name, but that's like a famous name in terms of like money, billionaires and whatever. So, yeah, you're gonna click buy, and it's gonna say what type, and then the type you click market. And then once you click buy and market, and it says like confirm, and then you buy it. And then after that, you should be good to go, but maybe it takes 4 hours sometimes, and I'd say sign up for the email from the bank, and it'll say, congratulations, your transaction went through with you now own 1 share or 10 shares of blank company. And then another thing you can do is now that you own those shares, you can vote for what happens with the company. So today I got an email from Southwest Airlines, which I don't recommend buying the stock. That's just like, I bought that because it was cheap and it was something to do. But at the end of the day, I like lost $5 for buying the cheaper stocks. So, but going back to Southwest Airlines, it was an email about like voting, so you can vote for what happens to the company. And they said, attention, Malcolm Tyler, do you want to vote for what happens? Or I didn't really read the email, but you can I think it's pretty cool because you can vote for like who the CEO is of like a Pollo Loco, or that's a good stock, by the way. And I don't know about oh yeah, there's Google too. So Google used to be real expensive, and then they split up or whatever, and the stock split, and now you can it's called Google voting, so you can vote for what happens to Google. So how cool is that? Like maybe it's like a power trip to some people, but I think I voted for what happened to El Pollo Loco, and I thought that was pretty cool. So what else? Yeah, so then there's Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and stuff like that too. And if you know about that, then educate me, because I did get into some Bitcoin, and got a buddy of mine that recommended some EFT and whatever, and I bought that, and then that's working out pretty good so far. So good, So I'd say just get whatever is affordable and don't go crazy. And like that story I mentioned about going into debt, I wouldn't recommend that, but it worked for me. So because that was kind of like a big hit, but I was ready for it at the time. I was excited and I did it. So yeah. Other than that, I've made it tells you what you make on the bank website on the brokerage thing. So it was gonna say like the dividends. It's gonna add up like all the dividends for all your stocks and tell you what you're gonna make in that year, annual revenue, and then your gain and loss of what your stocks are at now. Like once you get going, it's gonna say like unrealized gain, and it's gonna say how much you made so far, or like a good forecast for that year of how much you're gonna make. So, yeah, put like a decent or reasonable kind of amount into it. It depends on your situation. Another tip is don't buy the certificates. So, I used to own Costco stock, which is actually it's way more expensive now than when I was into it in 2014. Now Costco stock is like $800 a share. Anyway, I owned the certificate. It was a certificate share, or maybe, yeah, it was one share. And then when I needed to sell that stock to pay the rent and pay the bills, whatever, right? So then I had to go through a system and then call some number and wait for the whole process, because it was a certificate share. I couldn't just click buttons on the internet, on the computer, because it was locked up in that. And then I thought it was cool. It's like, hey, look, I own this, And then I had I think one of T-Mobile. No, I had AT&T. AT&T was really good stock back then. I don't know about now. But I think AT&T, they were known for a dividend yield. And so I'd recommend them. And maybe I'll buy some shares of AT&T soon too. So anyway, the point is, don't buy the certificate shares unless you plan on keeping that until you're an old man. So the investment I'm talking about on this episode is kind of like the old man mentality, investing, and hey, I own shares of this, and you go into the store, you're like, hey, I own this place, and Starbucks, they offer a bigger dividend as well. So just another tip. And it's also good if you can meet like real people like me that are actually like willing to give you free information, because like most of the rich people like I grew up with, like there'd be no way they'd sit here and tell you all this stuff. Like, so I got a friend that actually like gives us tips sometimes, and then he pays for the information too. So that's an act of giving. So financial information's better like when you pay for it. From some of my experience, like that Motley Fool information. And then I actually grew up like my dad had I had like the same as financial advisor, and we don't go to that guy anymore. Like I don't go to him, but it was just a long time ago. It's called like a money market fund, and like all this money was into this thing, and then it's called money market. And then I ended up like selling that to pay for my car and pay for the rest of like the student loan or whatever, so I can like set that up to be debt free, because a lot of people in student loans and car loans, that adds up to the debt and everything. So I guess it's also rare when you like when you are debt free. So this, just be grateful. But it's also on you, because the information's out there, and like some people aren't even taking advantage of the information. So I mean, I know we're in like the information age. You're on YouTube or podcasts is on Spotify and stuff like that, but some information is free, like at the library too, but you can only go so far. Like I'd say, like, yeah, get the hands-on experience. So that's what this is about. Oh yeah, with the bank thing, you can also like buy extra shares, like when everything's set up, and you can click like what you see in your account statements. You can see your checking account, savings account, and brokerage account all at the same time. Or if you own if you owe on your credit card with that bank, you can see how much you owe at the same time. So go to the brokerage account and then go to your shares, and you can buy more shares. And you can also like add funds to the brokerage account from the checking account. So you click transfer, you click checking to brokerage, and then you can add, like, let's say you want to add $50, $100, whatever. And then with that money, you can buy more shares. I know I'm kind of talking fast, but this is just how I do things, So yeah, what else? Yeah, we talked about stocks. We talked about dividends and capital gains. Those are the two main ways you can make money with this. Like day trading, that's more technical. That's more getting into it. Waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning with the New York Stock Exchange, whatever. And then the cryptocurrency. You can go ahead and laugh at me because I don't know too much about that. We're not gonna get into that. And then, yeah, what I do is I just buy random shares. But I'd say with the shares that you buy, my advice is don't buy anything with the share, like the stock is less than $50. If you want some quality shares. So eBay is an example. eBay is over, like, it's like $55 to $60 a share. And I'd say go with that. Unless you just want to buy, but you never know. I mean, like, let's say it's $15 a share for whatever stock, and it goes up to $50. And then that's how you make money. Like, you can get rich like that too. Like, let's say you put in $1,000 and bought, like, how many shares? Like, if it was $15 a share, so 15 divided by like 1,000, and you in this many shares. So when then they go up, you go up. Like, that's your capital gains. And another thing is that's tax free too. So people are talking about taxes. Like, they're going to give you something to give to your tax guy at the end of the year, but guess what? You pay 0% in taxes. So think about what I just said, 0%. So then that's the law of the game right there, son. So that's like the rich pay 0%. And then when you're an employee, you pay, like, whatever, 20%. When taxes go to, like, pay for your city and the library and like the parks, whatever. This and that, and it pays for people on welfare and this and that. So then if you're a small business guy, you pay taxes, but when you're on like the Jeff Bezos side of the spectrum, you don't pay, like, you pay very little in taxes. When you're on the Warren Buffett side of the game, you pay 0% in taxes, man. So I learned that from like that Japanese dude, Kiyosaki. So, I mean, I know it's like a dickhead thing to say, but that's just how it works in America, because this is America, man. So get ready for it, and then you'll see for yourself. And if you invest, like, leave a comment at YouTube if you want. If you get at me, just like leave me a comment and criticize me, praise me, whatever you gotta do, So, but 0%, I used to get more excited about that, and now I'm just used to it now. So, yeah, that's how it works. Because it doesn't even matter, like, who the president is, like if it's Kamala or if it's Trump. Like, well, it does matter with the stock world and with investing, because the stock market is going to fluctuate and whatever. But I'm talking about like the laws, how that works is like 0%, and then that's just like how it works in America. Whoever made that up, I don't know. I didn't make it up, so. But yeah, it sucks when you're like busting your ass and you get your paycheck and it goes to the taxes or whatever. So. Okay, I think I said not like too much about that. So, what else? That was a pretty boring episode. So that's pretty much it for this episode. And yeah, shout out to Sony headphones. I could be sponsored, and that'd be pretty nice. And yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. It's supposed to be like a really good guest next time. So stay tuned. Shout out to Belgium for listening. And music recommendations. Cryptopsy, Blasphemy and Made Flesh, 1994. Man, that came up, and I was like, okay, we'd heard None So Vile, which was like one of our like favorite brutal death metal albums in the cult that I was in, in 2000. A lot of bitchin' stuff came out in 2000. So they're from Canada. And we were just thinking there's like nothing to do in Canada except for be badass at guitar and be badass at drums, So here comes Cryptopsy on the like the top albums. It was like None So Vile, the one with John the Baptist, the head on the Atlas, that bitchin' album cover, and then it was this album, and it sounds like up to par with that one. It's almost as good. So yeah, we were just like, I listened to that and I was just like flipping out, man. So that's my recommendation right there. So yeah, all right, that's it for the episode. Thank you, everyone.